ba ba. Hi, today I'm going to share and show 3 cool paper crafting techniques. I call this video Trash to Treasure because these are literally materials that you can easily find in every house. For the first handmade decor, we need the usual PVA glue and paints of your choice, but I prefer acrylic. Paper of any kind, I have an old TV manual, and something thin and long, such as a brush or a pen or knitting needle, cotton bud or skewer, whatever you want. First, I prepare the papers. Namely, remove the staples and cut them to make long rectangular elements. In general, it doesn't matter what size they should be. For example, you can cut an A4 sheet lengthwise and get the perfect shape. Then the most interesting part. We need to wrap each piece of paper like a thin tube. For this, we need a long thin element, for example a needle or a skewer. It doesn't always work the first time, but experience comes very quickly. So let's try again. Notice that I'm not putting the refill exactly at a 45-degree angle, but a little sharper relative to the underside of the rectangle. This will make the tube longer and easier to work with. And seal the corner with glue. This way we do each piece of paper while listening to some podcast or a movie in the background. This is how many tubes I got, and for the first experiment it is more than enough. Next, I easily glue the 2 tubes together to make a long one. And I do this 4 times. Then we have to weave these 4 long tubes like a fabric. Next, we arrange the tubes evenly in a circle, like the sun's rays. But please note that I intentionally moved one ray up perpendicular to the table. Let's call it a leader tube or leader beam. We needed to begin weaving around the sun, like this. And we also repeat factory weaving. It is better to try to make the weave tight and avoid large gaps. Then we glue a new tube into the main leader tube to continue weaving. The bottom of our product is ready and the simplest part remains. We turn the tubes 90 degrees and continue weaving the walls. I'm checking whether I like this height and now I need to hide the ends of the tubes. We cut off the excess and hide the ends inside the formed edges. All that remains is to paint and harden. I suggest doing both at the same time. Add paint to glue and mix thoroughly. Let's start doing dirty things. Let's leave it to rest. Let's move on to the next idea. This is a variation on the classic Paper Mache theme. We will need a frame, cling wrap, glue, paints, and paper cut into strips. I took the glass as a frame and protected it with cling wrap. Then I spread glue on this base and began to tightly glue the strips. They also need to be coated with glue. It is better to apply several layers of paper, at least 2. Then the item will be harder. When the glue was dry, I applied black paint and now we are ready to take it out. and don't forget to paint the inside. For a super cosmic look, I added white splatters. They not only add beauty, but also visually hide unevenness, if any. While it's drying, we will move on to the third idea. I love origami, and one day I found on Pinterest how cool and easy it can be to decorate an empty wall. As usual, we need paper, glue, paints, scissors, but I recommend using paper of the desired color instead of painting it. It's easier and faster. Paper sheets must be square, and from these squares we make 3-dimensional triangles in this simple way. Here is such an asymmetrical panel I previously laid out on the floor and glued all the elements together with the tape. And now check out the final result of the 3 crafting ideas: weaving, paper mache, and origami. Subscribe and we'll see you in the next DIY video. Bye bye!